Hi, welcome to Game Journal. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the most anticipated games set to release in the year 2020. I'm going to be talking about games that people have been anticipating for quite some time, as well as lesser known games that have grabbed the gaming audience's attention over the past few months. Without further delay, let's look at Game Journal's most anticipated games of 2020. Cyberpunk 2077 has been in development for almost 7 years. CD Projekt Red announced and started developing the game Cyberpunk 2077 back in 2013. Fans have eagerly awaited the release of Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red showed their audience what playing Cyberpunk 2077 would feel like through a gameplay sequence video that involved a gameplay sequence in somewhere along the middle of the game, according to them. Cyberpunk 2077 has a non-linear storyline, and the story will change according to the choices the player makes in the game. The game is said to be an open-world RPG shooter, with heavy emphasis on character customization and varying playstyles and hybrid playstyles. Some people would argue that Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that has been in development for too long and that the wait was too long. However, I would tend to disagree and say that the game is probably well worth the wait, since we have already seen what some of the gameplay will look like. Even though it is not in its finished stage, I still believe that the game seems and feels excellent. Cyberpunk 2077 is set to release on 16th March 2020. Naughty Dog recently announced a current-gen console release date for The Last of Us 2. The game picks up its story 7 years after the events of The Last of Us Part 1, and it starts off by following Ellie, who is older, more experienced, and definitely wary of the dangerous world around her. Naughty Dog revealed that the length of the game will be on average between 25 and 30 hours, and the companion system is still there. However, it has been greatly improved and it feels like companion AI is much better this time around, according to Naughty Dog. On that, I guess we will have to wait and see and decide after we play the game. However, I can say that I am hoping that the story of The Last of Us is as amazing as the first one. It has also been hinted that Joel and Ellie were separated, but what happens after that remains to be seen. The Last of Us 2 is probably my most anticipated game of 2020. It's because I did not have anything to complain about in the story of the first one, and I expect The Last of Us Part 2 to be as gripping as the first one. Naughty Dog has confirmed that the game will feature a single player mode. However, there is no news about multiplayer mode as of yet. Blizzard Entertainment first revealed a cinematic announcement trailer for Diablo 4 earlier this year. The game will be released on both consoles and PC. However, the actual release date of Diablo 4 has not been confirmed as of yet. Dungeon Crawler Diablo 4 introduces new classes to the game, as well as better graphics and sound. Gameplay of the new classes, including the Barbarian, the Druid, and the Sorceress, were revealed at gaming conventions earlier this year. Now, for me, I'm a big fan of Diablo games. I think they are amazing. The length, the progression, everything is just, there's so much to do in dungeon crawlers like Diablo, especially Diablo 3. People have been playing Diablo 3 and been happy with it for quite some time. So I, for one, am happy that the Diablo games are getting a new installment. However, before announcing Diablo 4 for PC, Blizzard did try to release Diablo on mobile, which was not very well received by the audience and the gaming community in general. But it seems that they've learned from their mistake and are now actually releasing the game on console and PC, where most of the gamer base that actually plays Diablo 4 is situated. 6 months ago, From Software released a trailer for their game that they called Elden Ring. This new IP is said to be an open world game. The thing to note about Elden Ring is that before the onset of the trailer, it was already known that George R.R. Martin, the writer behind the Game of Thrones series, was writing the script, the lore, and the mythology of the entire game. If you think about it, it makes sense for Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin to work together. However, they are really delaying any further news about the game, which is causing people to wonder what the game will be like. Will it even be released in 2020? What is the time frame on that? Fans who are eagerly awaiting the release of Elden Ring are only complacent about the fact that no new information has been given to us about the game itself. A vague announcement was made that the game will release in 2020. Nothing is confirmed as of yet. Elden Ring is an open world game and it boasts the signature high difficulty levels of a From Software game. The action RPG is said to be From Software's biggest project to date. Ghost of Tsushima. A few years back, Sucker Punch Productions announced Ghost of Tsushima through a gameplay trailer. What we got this year, however, was something that revealed the story more than the gameplay itself. The game is said to be an action-adventure game, and though some people might argue that this game may not be as highly anticipated or hyped as some of the other games on this list or that are available to play in early, mid, or late 2020, I tend to disagree and think that this is one of those games that will probably give us more entertainment than people give it credit for. What was revealed through the story trailer was that we play as a samurai who is hunting someone in feudal Japan using only his sword and his wits, and I for one am looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima very much. We are almost at the end of the list, and before I talk about anything else, I would like to quickly mention a quick sneak preview thing we saw that was in the form of a 50-second trailer that was called PlayerUnknown's Prologue. Now just looking at it, it doesn't really explain or show us much except for a forest jungle setting and a person walking around in it. However, it could possibly be something interesting. It's something you would keep an eye on for the future. Next up is Naraka: Bladepoint, 24 Entertainment's action hack and slash online multiplayer game that focuses on PvP and melee combat, high mobility throughout the island of Morris, where players can engage in co-op and PvP gameplay. However, many of the details of this game are yet to be revealed, though not much else has been revealed about Naraka: Bladepoint as of yet. Trailer and the gameplay both look like something I would love to spend some more time experiencing and playing. Not much else is known about Naraka: Bladepoint at the current point of time. However, I would still like to play the game sooner rather than later. Final Fantasy VII is up next. Square Enix announced that the game will be released on 3rd March 2020 after nearly 10 years of development, and now that the game is finally coming out, many people are hyped for it, and it has been a while since the original game was released, so there will be a huge difference in graphics, sound, gameplay, so that's a huge factor. However, there are fans of the game, and some people might generally just dislike the game, or for maybe even for the changes that have been made to Final Fantasy VII Remake itself, because yes, there are going to be changes to the plot, and some of the content of the game might be given to players in the form of paid DLC instead of just giving the whole game to the players upfront for one price. So it might be slightly controversial. However, I think that Final Fantasy VII is still a game people will look forward to and is highly anticipated just because of it being one of the very best games of its time when it was released originally. Let's see how the remake does. I don't know if people will dislike it, but I am 100% sure that there are fans who are waiting to play Final Fantasy VII Remake for sure. If you have any comments, leave them below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon.